Missouri #1, Michael Porter Jr.
With 17, that is a new career high for him. Morris inside. And Porter with the follow. And the crowd goes crazy. This Monte, and the one thing he's shown all year that he's played it, he goes the offensive glass. I mean, he's not afraid. And in this league, you see a reason to just let him go. No one wants to block him.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Casual Friday here at the DNBA show. It's Casual Friday because I have my hat back, guys. I don't know if
so cash.
Yeah, it's
I didn't
so
get the
casual.
memo, apparently.
Usually forward, but Fridays put it back.
Yeah, Harrison's in the company polo, so
Yeah, that.
I was just doing a very formal interview on Skype, so I had to get dressed up a little bit.
Looking for another job, or what's going on?
yeah.
Not a job interview.
Yeah, I know. You think Best Buy will call back, or?
Well, I guess he introduced himself there, but the very formal man with the wind in his hair, it's Harrison Lane.
We're presented by Manscaped, of course.
Your balls.
Your balls.
Thank you.
Seated to his right, my left, your left, my right. It is bottom in the bottom part in the flower shirt. It's Brendan Vogt.
hey, is it
Nailed
me?
it.
Hey, how's it going?
And then over there, the other bro with the hat backwards. It's D-Line. In fact, now I'm looking at us, we all look ridiculous. Like, look at us looking the same.
Do you think I look ridiculous? Should I turn my head
only
around?
because
Is that the
you
issue?
look like me. So by extension.
Well, that's not
yes.
fair. That's not. Don't drag me down. Maybe you look like me, and you need to come up. I don't need to be going down. But I am glad that you finally ended the formality of your front-facing hat. I just felt a little bit.
Felt a little pretentious.
Yeah, a
I
little
don't think I've
stuffy.
ever seen Adam wear a front-facing hat.
That's because I look stupid.
Yeah,
I don't
Look at this
legitimately never seen that look before. Ever.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't want to be aligned with Adam anymore. I'm turning my hat around.
There you go. You look
thank
pretty good.
It's Formal Friday, everybody.
I guess
Formal
this is our
Friday.
Formal Friday. This is our first question, so everybody in the comment section. We're going to be talking about things we are hyped for the season, because the last few days we've been talking about some of the details and some of the specifics. But of course, sports is irrational. We don't have to always be tethered to
is.
like, oh yes, these are the games. Can they make it? Can they do it? Whatever. Sometimes you can just put your hat backwards and say, you know what?
On a Friday.
What's the craziest thing that you think realistically might happen? We're going to do a whole bunch of those, so send us yours in the comments, and I want to start reading those off. Also, if you want to hop on the show and share these in person, hop in the Discord. I'll probably share the link on Twitter here in 10 or 15 minutes, but first I want to allow DNVR members a chance to hop on. Lots of prizes to give away on the steps. We're going to give away lots of prizes. But before we do, let's talk, guys. We've talked about these details, but none of us have really shared our enthusiasm for the season. Is it because the season is 7 weeks away?
Yeah.
And that it's just like, what's the point of getting too excited?
definitely.
Yes.
Not to
Yes.
answer your question with a one-word answer, but yeah, that's it. That's it for me, no doubt.
I think it's that, and also because there's so much going on in the world right now outside of sports.
No doubt.
But also the fact that it's just under 2 months away, and I feel like so much can happen in terms of like coronavirus and this worldwide pandemic over these next 2 months that could shift the NBA's plans slightly. That these plans are great. They make sense on paper, but I think we all know they're quote-unquote tentative. They could change.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but we've all kind of just moved on from the coronavirus, but that doesn't mean the coronavirus moved on.
Sure doesn't.
And I think this next couple of weeks will be really revealing just about what direction things break.
Yeah,
God.
go ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've just got 7 weeks. I mean, you don't know once they start if they're going to be able to finish it. You don't know if a star player is going to get it. And frankly, not to be a bummer, but there's a lot of stuff in the world that, like, this is the first time in my life I've ever seen society so laser focused on something with a lack of distractions. And honestly, I love basketball so much, but it almost feels weird to welcome one back in right now with just so much at our doorstep.
I think
Yeah,
a
it's
great
point. Though.
Like, go ahead.
Yeah, but it is funny. Like, once you sort of tear things up, it's sort of good to remember like why what we're like focused on in the first place, which is having a happy life, people enjoying their time here on Earth,
Right.
and basketball brings a lot of joy to people. So it is really important to remember things that seem like they're not important that are actually very important. But when we were working on the branding for our MLB draft show, which is coming up next Wednesday, everybody tune in. It's going to be awesome. And I just started to really think about how much I was missing baseball, because there's just something like so pure and so visceral about going to a baseball game and I hadn't allowed myself to go down that line of thinking because I didn't want to start mourning something that isn't officially gone yet, like it could come back. And this is sort of in the same line of thinking where when you start to think about like, okay, basketball's coming back, like what does that actually feel like? Talking about basketball and watching and experiencing basketball are two entirely different things.
Yeah.
And so to allow yourself the luxury to think about like what it will actually feel like to come back, it's like I'm not quite ready to go there yet, because I don't want to put myself in a place where then I have to mourn the loss of that. You know what I mean? So
Right, for sure.
it's sort of, everything is so tentative. Nothing makes sense. We just sort of have to take every punch to the chin as we keep getting them one right after another. But that's why it's hard to like really be like, it's go time. But for me, it's very important to remember what is good about life, and basketball is what is good about life.
That's a good point.
But at the same time, I do think that I think it's a good thing that we have been pretty void of distractions, and we've talked about this off the air, of course, and we have obligations to sponsors and to our jobs and everything else. And we saw today a bunch of news coming across, both from Vox and from our friends over at The Athletic, that this has been really tough. The coronavirus era has been very, very tough on digital media, most of which are some form of startup and trying to survive. So it's been sort of a twofold sort of thing for us, but we've talked a lot, and we want to continue to keep this conversation open of, it is kind of nice. It is kind of good that there haven't been distractions from this. And as you said, Brendan, people have been focused on the Black Lives Movement, on the police response to these protests and riots, and sort of it's forced us to have this conversation that I think is actually a really big positive, that if sports were here, maybe that would take away some of the attention. So in a lot of ways, I do feel like it has been a good thing that we have stayed on it. And to your point, we are now 9 days in, I think, to when the first protest began, and it really hasn't slowed down much.
Seems to be a sustained effort. And it's just been an important thing for me to remember as a white person in basketball media. I want this show, this circus to come back, but this is a largely black league, and it's mostly black athletes that I've piggybacked and made a living off of. So to sort of like, I want it back because it's a good thing in my life, and I'm sure the players want to play, but I can't also be distracted from what's important right now. So navigating this has been difficult. And as you mentioned, Adam, there's also the urgency of the timeline in that our friends are losing their jobs. So
Right.
to come down, to have the emotion of like excitement, it's difficult. It's a lot of confusion right now, really.
We got our first what's up here from Nicholas. What's up, Nicholas? You guys got to hop in.
Happy belated birthday, Nicholas. By the way, yesterday was
yes.
his birthday, I think. So I think he might be
Look
coming.
at how intimately Brendan knows the community.
I like to think that
Unbelievable.
vote has just this dossier of every member's like full name, birthday,
really-
I don't think
declares.
I'm
likes
reasonably
and
certain.
dislikes, what
Yeah,
they
I'm
do on
reasonably
the
certain
weekends.
Brendan didn't wish me a happy birthday. Just
I didn't. I forgot. I'm always on the timeline, though, man. I know our people.
You are always on the timeline. That is very true. All right, well, let's move on to some of the hype though for this Nuggets team, because last night was the first time I sat and actually thought about what it would look like, and allowed ourselves. We started talking a little bit about Michael Porter just in our own group chat and this or that. It was like almost feeling something in me where I was like, oh yeah, my brain hasn't been there, like
at all.
What if he's awesome again? Those conversations we used to love to have like once a week about this types of things. So I'm going to tell you my first thing, and you guys can tell me how hyped you are with this. And this is a completely, in my opinion, fabricated hype, but sometimes those are the most fun.
Let's do it.
Nikola Jokic's body. I'm hyped to find out. I want to know if this beast body and this Adams thing is real. I have this vision in my head of us all seeing some photo of him like at practice, and there's just guns, and he's just like pecs.
So
and
creepy.
I'm hyped for it.
Can I tell you what? He's going to look exactly the same, but I'm with you. I'm right there with you, man. My imagination's running wild.
Are we going to do that thing where there's like a picture of him with a shadow, and we're like, wait a second, hold on, look at, he's chiseled.
Yes.
And it's like, oh
Yes.
wait, no, that's just a
Can we
Definitely.
rephrase it though? Can we stop saying his body? It makes me feel weird. Can we say like his fitness level or something?
Sure.
I just want to make it really, really weird. His body.
Yeah, it
his
is weird.
pecs.
I feel weird.
Is this? Am I setting myself up for disappointment?
Yeah.
Maybe slightly, but I think the great thing about talking about Jokic's body, I'm going to say it again, Eric. Even if the rumors are true, even if they're not, it doesn't matter because he's an amazing basketball player either way. He's a top 10 player in the league either way. So I'm just excited to see him back out on the court, no matter what he looks like.
Yeah, how do we feel his body was in last playoffs? So in
Not great.
terms of body rating, does
He
it
was
like
awesome.
in a 10?
What excites
But
me
his
about
body-
what we're hearing, though, is that, Adam, you referred to it as the workout bug. I'll just call it discipline. That he appears to be in that headspace. You know what I mean? And if Jokic it really is committed to still working out, the portion control stuff he was on before the season ended, that should get you excited because, like, all right, man, our boy wants to win, man. Our boy wants it.
Here's what I'll say though about like body transformation when it comes to athletes is that I feel like Von Miller made a point to gain a bunch of weight several years ago so that he could be not moved as easily, and he had one of his worst seasons.
Yeah,
like
this is a good point.
Gary Harris made a point to bulk up so that he could get his body moving the right way, and he suffered
Two
for
for
it. It's
two.
like there's something about like changing the way that your body moves and is naturally meant to be with a way, some sort of ideal that you think you're supposed to be, that isn't always like congruent and doesn't always work for people. So I hope that while he's on the beach and with his chiseled abs, which we're absolutely going to see, that it doesn't like change how he plays somehow.
I think you're right about that in a lot of cases. I think with Jokic though, let's be honest. I think there is probably room for improvement, and there is a point too. People have asked me like, he does use that weight in a nice way or this or that, but I more think with bigs, it's more comparable to like a Julius Randle. Remember the year Julius Randle got like absolutely jacked and just dominated everybody, and then he went to the Knicks and was like, "Well, forget this."
Right.
And then I think for Jokic there's like a real positive momentum, and actually more to Vogt's point. It almost has less to do with like what he looks like, abs, no abs, whatever, and more just to do with the fact that it's like seems like he wants to improve himself in some way. So, not that he didn't before, but more so than ever before.
Right.
There is a physical side to this. Think about Kristaps Porzingis, who came back as jacked as you can possibly be, and probably had a much lesser season this year than we were all expecting.
He was starting to come around.
Well, he also came back from a torn ACL.
But
all the same, I mean, I don't know. It's like not always, just having a Grecian body does not always lead to success.
It's true.
On the floor.
And there is like
Eric's a big believer in like people not working out or eating healthy. He's a very big proponent of that.
No, I'm not. I'm a big proponent of people thinking that that's the solution to unlocking life. That people think that like being in shape makes you a better person, or that it makes you better at things. Which people sort of like get in this mindset that if you work out and run, you become a better person somehow, which is not the case.
Yeah.
This is the Jokic experience, man.
Yeah.
It just defies all that logic.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm as dope as I could possibly be, and I don't
he
care
is.
about it.
Yeah, totally.
I'm also excited for these dumb conversations. They're so great. I
can't
just
wait.
really enjoy these dumb ones.
But I can't. My biggest like tinfoil Jokic thing is like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I am almost scared. Like, this doesn't make any sense.
know.
This isn't. So don't
Yeah.
really. But what if he gets jacked and then he just starts getting hurt all the time?
That's what I'm saying. That's
He
what I'm
cannot
saying. Like,
physically get hurt.
He was-
cannot physically get
yeah.
hurt.
As
He
things
was
stand, he falls to the ground approximately 3 times a season, and I like that. Let's leave it.
yeah,
there.
and he was like remarkably unjacked last season, and the result was that he was awarded first team all rounders.
Yeah.
So like, where are we going from here?
Ooh, speaking of which, it's another thing. I didn't have it written down, but I'm going to say it. I'm excited for Jokic to win another first-team All-NBA,
Yes.
which will admittedly be really weird. Think about it. Those votes haven't happened yet, right? So when
Right.
you go to the voting, people are going to say, well, we can't, overdo this 1 week or whatever, Yeah, right. You know that these 8 games are going to be so heavily weighed on people's minds, whether they want it to or not. It's just going to be like, well, I don't really remember October of last year, but I do remember this year.
Voting should already be done. Votes should be in. They should be tallied. The award should have been given out already. Why didn't the NBA fill this time with an award?
That's so true.
He is.
The Andre Miller school, and Andre Miller played until 42.
And he was awesome.
Keep fleshing that point out. I agree with you. Keep going. What were you about to say?
Yeah. Why didn't the NBA have an awards show during this hiatus? Like, the season's done. This is not this continuation of the same season. The season is over. The awards should be handed out. The votes should be tallied.
That's a great point.
I'm with you. That's a good
Man,
take.
it's like a thing you don't think about. But yeah, you're right. It would be nice to maybe it's something they can do in the build up to this is just say, hey, we're going to vote for that or whatever.
We should do that. We should come up with our own awards for what should be the end of the season.
Rookie of the year, Michael
season.
Porter Jr.
Yeah.
MVP, Nikola Jokic.
It's easy. Let's do it right
It's
now.
also funny in the All NBA conversation because last year Embiid versus Jokic was a very tightly contested race. This year it's not the same. Embiid did not have a great season by his standards. It's clearly Jokic this year.
Jokic didn't really have a good season by his standards either, though.
People are going to really remember October and November for Jokic, man.
Happy Friday, Rayvon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he needs
I think
to hop on here and play the steps.
I think he did have a good season, Eric. But I know you. I know what you mean.
Not by his standards.
I understand
That's
what
the
you're
thing.
saying, but
He
look,
had pretty much like the same season as last year.
he also just
And he was fourth in MVP.
I'm going to
voting last
stats.
year.
And
I'm
he
going
also-
to NBA stats for the first time in like 5 months.
Let's do it.
I don't know, guys. Adam, you're the stats guy now, so maybe this is anecdotal. But did he not whip ass in his personal matchups with all of these dudes? Gobert,
100%.
Towns, and
Every time,
Embiid,
every
and game
time.
winners on all of them.
100% of the time.
To me, last year it was like, ooh, maybe it's Jokic, and this year I'm like, all right, someone else has to take it. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, the only mark against him is that he came up big when it mattered, which is what we always talk about. Like, he needs motivation to be able to like come out and perform his best, and then he just like took nights off. Which, does that matter? I don't know. They might.
I mean, it's just like we don't have to do. We're all on the same page, so I don't want to like litigate like do the whole Embiid versus Jokic thing. There's just so much aggregate talent on that Philly teams, and that has been the case for the last few years. That for Jokic to consistently be on the team that's winning more games, right, and to have these performances in these matchups, it's like it's really a no-brainer.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, 22, 10, and 7 since December 1st. So it was really that first month. That was all it was. After
That's-
that,
I
his
know,
numbers actually
I know.
went up, but it doesn't matter. You're right, Eric. It's going to be funny when people don't remember the season except for the beginning of the season when Jokic wasn't good. That's the only part of the season they'll remember.
That's how it works. That's
Which
how it
is
works.
going to be like 10 months ago by the time we get to the playoffs.
Oh, it's going to be ridiculous.
Are you guys ready for the national media to tell us that Jokic just lost the weight, like just now in the last month?
For sure.
This is like every time MTV would have award the best new artist award at their MTV Music Awards, and half the time they'd be like, "This is my 8th album." Thank you.
That's awesome. Harrison, take us away with our first ad read. Everybody else, hop in. We want to play.
Can we pull up that last comment though? Murder hornets were attacking my Wi-Fi router. Is that a topical joke or is
That's
that
actually
an
what's
act-
been happening. That's
Is
what
that a
happened to
real-
me on Tuesday's show.
Really?
No, that's not a literal comment.
Oh, okay.
All right, guys. Well, we had so many of you sign up for the DNVR Clubhouse on WGT. We had to open up another one. So if you
What's it
didn't get in
called?
the Clubhouse the first time, search for DNVR 2.
deuce.
DNVR,
The
the
deuce.
number 2. It's all
Can't
one
miss
word. DNVR the
the party
Deuce.
club.
Same tournaments, same tee time, same everything. Just more people.
Same prizes too. So it's the same clubhouse, just a different name. The Overflow Crowd. So if you haven't signed up for
Overflow
WGT,
gang.
download it from DNVRGolf.com. We don't have a tournament this weekend, but we'll have one next
think,
weekend.
Do you think we'll
I'm
start
playing
like
some
a
golf today.
rivalry between DNVR and DNVR 2?
Ooh, fractures. Yeah, I like it. I like it.
A turf war battle between DNVR and DNVR2. Let's do it.
Yeah, and if you guys are looking for some Breck brews to get you through the weekend, I'm going to recommend the 15-can sampler. You get 3 Vanilla Porter Juniors, 3 Breck Lagers, 3 Agave Wheats, 3 Avalanche Ambers, and 3 Lucky You IPAs, all for just $17, I think. Awesome deal.
You know what I'm
crazy.
craving right now? That Mountain Beach. I just want to look at the can. It's so pretty.
Oh, it is
Yeah,
pretty.
you do love that can.
They nailed it,
I
man.
think they're starting to call the 15-pack the Jokic pack. I'm not sure.
Oh, wow.
Not sure if it's taken or what. But
Is it because of the number or his
C plus joke.
Is it his abs or
A-plus
his number?
joke. A-plus joke. Is that it, Harrison? Are we done?
And that's it.
All right.
Let's go.
Harrison, give me one thing you're hyped for.
All right. I am hyped for the Gary Harris redemption story.
Yes.
It was starting, wasn't it? It was starting.
I was hyped for that too last year and the year before.
Oh, stop.
I don't think there's more of a feel-good story that could come out of these 8 games in playoffs than Gary Harris, the guy who was on the cusp of becoming the Nuggets' second-best player 2 years ago, and then mysteriously his offense has just been derailed over the last couple of years. Him regaining that foothold as, Denver's maybe third or second best player in these playoffs, keeping his defense where it's at, but also rediscovering his shot, getting that confidence back, attacking the rim. I'm here for the Gary Harris redemption tour.
Yeah, it's that would definitely be the brightest timeline for the fans. Like, I think, Barton, we've talked about as at times the heart and soul in the locker room, maybe, or more vocal. Jokic, the best player. Murray, most marketable. But I actually think of Gary as Mr. Nugget with this group. Like, just the guy that, like, I don't know, like, he was the first, he's the longest tenured of this. And like, if they were to get it done together, for Gary to be the one that steps up as opposed to, all right, maybe we go and make that trade for Beal. Like, this is it. Like, this is the ideal for a Nuggets.
Now you're making me feel terrible for trying to trade him for the last, 6 months.
Well, that's I've been so hard on him this season because he played poorly, but at no point did I want to. Like, there's nothing that would be doper than Gary turning it on.
So true. This is such a great point. Vote this. You win the show already today because
It was
you're right.
Harrison's point.
Oh, well, Vote. You said it
And
best.
it was Mike Olson's point last night. This is ridiculous.
Anyway, yeah, I think if he did it, there was a way for him to be the guy that's just like, oh, Gary stepped up and had it. Think about when because he really did step up time and time again in 2018, and like the game winner was sort of like the the embodiment of what he meant to the team, where it was like, oh, trusty Gary, he's the guy. Like, no surprise, he's the one that hit the game winner. Now it'd be the biggest surprise in the world.
I always have signposts for looking back to figure out like how impactful people were, and that's whether or not I was moved to make a shirt about them, which is because it's true. Like, it really takes me a long time, and I have to feel like I really have to feel moved by a player before I because it takes me a long GD time to make these shirts. So I have to feel the power in me, and Gary absolutely. Like, it was a no-brainer. Like, oh yeah, we're making a Gary shirt, no doubt. Like, another player that we started to make a shirt of, which is my hype that I'm excited about, is Monte Morris. I'm looking for Monte Morris in these playoffs to find a foothold and give the Nuggets the strong second unit that they need to get over that hump. Like,
Eric, is this my shirt design, sort of? Shirt idea? Half of an idea that you designed?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it is. But like, between he and my main man Compose, like that, we were really weak at the one. Oh yeah, I've shortened it. We were so weak at the backup one, and it just cost us every time that Jokic or the starters went off the floor. The Nuggets were susceptible, and they were crumbling. And now we've got the long boys that we can put in as soon as Jokic goes off the floor, like Monte and the long boys. That's what I'm excited for. Let's go.
Speaking of which, I'm not sure Bol or PJ Dozier will get to go to the games. They might not actually be allowed in. I asked that yesterday. Said they were uncertain, but probably not.
We should invite Bol to the bar.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Well, they could just re-up.
Ample
leverage. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Convert Dozier to the
I thought they already converted.
They have an open roster spot.
Yeah, they do have that spot.
What's the deadline on that decision making?
I think it was a while ago.
Yeah.
But who knows? Deadlines don't matter anymore. Vote. What player are you? Ray, I'm seeing you. We have a guest here. Should we give it a shot, Allie? What are you thinking here? Because he's on mobile. It's a little choppy.
I think he wants to play the steps, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Hey, Ray,
Let's
what's
go.
going on, man?
Yes.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up, man? We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Wow, that is much better audio than I was expecting based on this video.
That's good. Yeah.
Ray, who's the Nugget you're most excited to see when they return?
Yep, this is what I expected.
I mean, it's got to be Michael Porter Jr.
Oh,
that's
the
what
right
I want to
answer.
see. That's what I want to watch play. But I'm actually really excited for next season because it's got to be Bol. I mean, Bol is my hero.
You're a man
I feel
after our
like
hearts.
as a big man, everyone, you just want to be Bol. Like, I want to shoot threes. I wanted to be that. I spent my entire life like, hey, go get in the paint. Hey, go get these rebounds.
Yeah.
I wanted to shoot threes. I wanted to be
You
that
want
guy.
to dribble. You want to
Wait,
dribble.
how tall are you, Ray?
7'2", just
Right.
point forward.
I'm 6'4". I'm not
You're
even.
6'4".
I'm not even that tall. But
Have you ever tried to grow to 7'2"?
Can I
6'4".
think
can
he's
I counter and say that you actually are tall?
You know,
if you're
I
6'4"?
gave it my best shot.
I feel like you could have tried harder.
I'm pretty tall, but I'm like John Wall size. You know,
Well, that's good. He's not generally a traditional.
I
big
did my
man.
best.
I gotta say,
Yeah,
man,
I
it's,
ate my vegetables. You know,
it's tough to
don't mind me.
It's tough to get excited about Bol. Just like it was tough for me last year to get excited about MPJ. Like I don't want to get too hyped for something that we just
That's what I'm
might
saying.
never actually get to see. But it could be
He
that pleasant
could
surprise.
not work out. That's true.
Yeah.
He's gonna work out, Ray.
Right.
Don't you put that evil on this stream?
Yeah, but this is kind of what's cool about where the Nuggets
Oh no,
are
I
at.
already know.
Oh, you do know. Okay.
Some teams are really good, and some teams have some cards up their sleeves, like an MPJ or a Bol. And the Nuggets are in that fun place right now where they have both, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're a fan, you can watch Jokic and Murray get it done, but you also have that when you put your head on the pillow at night, you wonder, like, do they have two more studs here? And that's kind of fun to let your mind wander.
Yeah.
I gotta say, like,
Yeah, I definitely think that's one of the best parts.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, about being a fan is that we're in a position where we've always had like next season to look forward to and see in a way that we can even be better next time. So that's cool.
Well, that's what I was just gonna say. Like, that encapsulates being a Nuggets fan, like, more succinctly than I can ever imagine. It's just, you're like, what are you excited about? It's for the Nuggets fans. It's always next season. Like, it's always about next season. But
I
I'm
say
excited
something
this
to that,
season,
though?
baby.
Yeah,
we
I
got
know.
it this
And
season.
That's not forever.
So the Cavs had this website, and they had a
for sure.
saying in Cleveland that was waiting for next year, right? Because it was like in Cleveland sports, you're always excited about the next season, not the current one. But they won a championship,
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this stuff happened. I know it feels that way until it happens, and then you're like, oh, yeah, now we're winners, and now
Right.
you're just like, we're gonna win every year. It's the Broncos thing. The
And it only takes one.
It only
just
takes
takes
one,
one.
exactly.
Ray, are you old enough to remember when the Broncos were never going to win a Super Bowl? It was just like, that will never happen.
Okay. Somewhat, I have to say, so I'm a Ravens fan.
Oh my god.
But I do have like a similar experience where we were like perpetually not relevant.
Yeah.
And like just what I said, all it takes is one Super Bowl, and you're like, oh my gosh, it can happen.
Yeah,
Why do you got to talk about that one
There you
Super
go.
Bowl that went through Denver? I don't want to talk about it. Get out of here, Ray.
It's true, though. It's
I'm
true.
sorry.
You get one and
I'm sorry.
he was a real big Joe Flacco guy.
Yeah. Who could? He is
I
tall.
was.
Joe is tall.
He is elite.
He is indeed. Oh man, the show's already off the rails. I'm also extremely excited for Michael Porter. I mean, and here's my hot take. I'm ready. We can close out today's show by giving a half court. We have to be a little bit quick today, guys. We'll try to, if we have time, we'll try to get Ray on the steps. But
Okay.
before we go to break, we can give a half court heave. Look at this awesome little graphic. Oh, there it is. It's Rocky making a half court heave is like a wild prediction that you don't have to actually believe. It's just like, you know what? Let's try this. One out of 100 times it's going to go in. I think MPJ is going to score over 30 points in one playoff game. And
Wow.
don't know how many playoff
Wow.
games. I think he is going to not just play. I think he is going to have at least one big game, and that means over 30 points.
Wow. Half court heave. You know what the thing about the half court heave is? Rocky makes them almost every game. So they can they can happen. Harrison, what's your half court heave?
My half court heave is sticking with the Gary Harris theme. Gary Harris will hit a game winner in the playoffs.
Ooh.
Man, that's a real heave because you have to be in position. First of all, also you have to think about this. They're calling the play for Jokic and Murray, so Gary would have to be like a kick-out
Adam,
scramble.
Hypecast, Adam. Hypecast.
All right, you know, Gary Harris, game winner,
Not
yeah.
practicast. Stop
It's
it.
also for LeBron James for the win.
Yeah, no one tunes into the Practicast.
All right, Vo, what's your half-court heave?
Yeah, I'm going to top you with a completely non-verifiable, or unverifiable, and unlikely to happen. Michael Porter Jr. is the best player in a playoff series.
Nice, nice.
This is insane.
a full court
Yeah, this is
from
like
top
an
deck.
outside the
First
stadium.
series of the playoffs.
Oh, look at those good boys.
Utah, something. MPJ cannot be stopped.
Yeah, Ray, are you on a dog sled? What's happening? Are you?
Yeah. So I run a pet service in DC. So I walk people's dogs. And this is Yabu and Omi. They're the goodest boys. You're right.
They are the goodest boys. I've never been so jealous of somebody else doing a job. That seems amazing.
Yeah. I enjoy my job. Yeah. It's nice.
Oh man, we have a crazy half-court heave in the comments. Eric and Harrison will get reliable
What?
Wi-Fi. Nope,
What's
not
wrong with
gonna
my
happen.
Wi-Fi?
Eric's been good for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, what the F, man?
Ray, give us a half-court heave, man. You don't have to fully believe it, but just give us a prediction that might come true.
I'm like 80% on this one. I think Jokic averages a triple-double.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what? It is
In
funny. That isn't a
postseason?
half-court heave. That's just like a free throw. That's like
It's a free throw.
I mean, it
It's not
would
a free
be
throw.
pretty insane if he did it, but
Yeah, it would be
he could.
totally-
He
It's like
could.
a Hassan Whiteside free throw.
Now we're talking.
No, that is a good one though. Do you think Ray he would get like more recognition? I guess he's a first-team All-NBA. He gets recognition from like writers and even like other players, but just the casual fan if he averaged a triple-double in a playoff series.
No.
Yeah, I think that's the right answer.
I think people on the internet like us will continue to say like, "Oh yeah, look how awesome he is."
Yeah.
But the casual fan, it's his aesthetic. If he can drop some like Dirk game-winning fadeaway three-pointers, that would be great. But I think counting stats are just going to be tough.
That's
And the
exactly
awkward,
right.
like his game winners are all like off-footed, left-handed floaters in
There's
the lane.
not a
and,
pretty
like,
one in the bunch.
Not a
actually.
single
The
one.
prettiest one is the Sombor
Yeah.
shuffle against the Jazz.
Yeah.
Right, for sure.
Yeah, but the ball, the flight of the ball is absolutely gorgeous.
It is
It's
a high
it's,
archer.
Oh yeah.
it's unfortunately like where
Something
it originates
nobody has
from.
ever said about a game winner. The flight of the ball was beautiful.
Yeah, because they're like high
He
arcing.
has so
They
much
go
art.
through like
Yeah.
they don't like rattle in. They go through with such finesse. What are you talking about?
I was
Harrison?
playing 2K the other night.
Nobody's ever done this.
I did the first night of the season, and I was actually just watching it. I was simming it, and Jokic hit a game winner on his left foot with his left hand. It was a floater over Nurkic as time expired, and it looked hideous.
Oh yes.
So 2K20 is on their shit.
Eric, you're the last one. Do you have a
all right.
half-court heave?
My half-court heave, you're going to probably say is a layup or a free throw, but I believe the Denver Nuggets will make it at minimum to the Western Conference Finals.
No, that's. You think I'm going to call that a layup?
Okay.
That would be very shocking, man. That means they beat the Clippers.
Yeah,
in the second
I
round,
agree.
they win whoever they beat in the first.
Or the
play in the
Lakers.
first round, and then they get the Clippers. That's a half-court heave, man. I like
All
it.
right, baby. Let's
it?
go.
Do you like those
I
odds,
mean,
Ray?
Who are their bigs? Like when I think about, I at least see a path for us winning in the sense that who's guarding Jokic?
Yeah, Montrezl Harrell.
Yeah.
Probably pretty
So,
effectively, actually.
No, he won't guard him effectively. He might get killed on the other end of the court, but
Right.
Right.
or on the glass. But
It's true. Honestly, like every playoff matchup that you talk about, like it just really comes down to that. Like who's guarding Jokic? Like if you're talking about the Rockets, who's guarding Jokic? You're talking about the Clippers, who's guarding Jokic?
Or even like who's then guarding Paul Millsap? Who's then guarding Plumlee after that? Like I think we have an edge in something. I'm not saying it's guaranteed.
yeah.
Possible.
I
can
mean,
see
I
it,
think
man.
when you have a player as good as Jokic, you have to look at any matchup and say, if our role players shoot really well this series, right? If guys take
Yeah.
and make open threes,
Gary Harris shoots 40%.
yeah, you got a chance.
go.
You got a
So
chance.
ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, guys. Harrison, give us one last break, and then when we come back, Ray will try to climb the steps. Are you good to go for another
Boy.
5 minutes here, Ray?
Yeah, I'm good.
Ray, I
Alright.
see that you're in a wooded space. I need you to connect with nature and get your mind right. Get ready for the
Okay.
steps.
All right, let me have a seat here.
Get in a Zen
All right,
position,
Harrison, give us
please.
a-
All right, this Saturday, guys, UFC 250 is starting off the June sports calendar with a bang. The fighters are eager to get to the octagon, and DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is putting you in the center of the action with sign-up bonus to $1,000. DraftKings Sportsbook is also offering a no-brainer of a promotion. They're offering 5-1 odds on the Nunes fight, who is heavily favored. Normally
Which
a
we're told is
$10
stay
bet.
away. We're told
Normally,
that's
a $10 bet on a fighter of Nunes' caliber will only net $2. For a limited time, DraftKings Sportsbook is offering $10 to win $50. So what you got to do, guys, is download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code DNVR when you sign up. All new users for a limited time get a sign-up bonus up to $1,000. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. Bonuses comprised of a first deposit bonus and a first bet match, each up to $500. That's been changed. Each up to $500. Deposit bonus requires a 25 times playthrough. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. And we've also got Strava Craft Coffee. You can get 20% off when you use the code DNVR20. StravaCraftCoffee.com.
Let's go.
All right, it is now time.
Did you see that last
go.
comment?
Where few...
In case it comes up, Ray, KD did not play on the Warriors in 2015.
Got it.
File that away.
Got it. File that
Appreciate
away.
it.
It's tripped people up before. All right, Ray, here we go.
Oh, boy.
All right.
Who is the coach, the current coach of the Golden State Warriors?
Oh, is it Steve Kerr?
That is correct. You got
Also
me nervous
not
there. I was
KD.
like, well. All right.
Ray doesn't have a guide.
Number 2. I know.
doesn't.
It's
That's true.
really tough. Really tough.
Oh gosh.
Number 2. Which of these players was a number 1 overall pick? Zion Williamson, Jason Tatum, or Michael Porter Jr.?
Zion.
That is correct. Let's go. Number 3.
Okay.
Moving right along. What country is Luka Doncic from?
God.
Man, this is a tough one for number 3. What the heck?
I did not write this one.
Are you sure I don't have a guide?
So I'll be your guide.
Eric could be your guide.
Hold on, is Deep Throat Harrison back? Can we?
Might have to unplug and plug back in.
Not my final answer. I'm leaning toward Lithuania.
No, that's not your final answer at all.
It's not your final
Would you say?
answer.
Definitely not your final answer.
Would you say that
Definitely
he's fast or slow?
I'd say he's Slovenian.
Slovenia.
Yeah.
We got it.
No integrity.
Nice.
No
yes.
integrity on
I'm
the
the
show.
greatest.
That question was ridiculous for number 3. What happened? Come on, question biggest.
Why didn't you go with the question I wrote down?
I know it was a mistake. I thought the original one was tough, so I altered it then on the roof.
Do you wish that this is how Jeopardy worked, where Alex would just berate the people that wrote the questions and they would argue back and forth about them during the show?
Yeah. What this shit?
All right, number
That would
4
be,
here. This one's kind of
interesting.
tough too, but you have to know a little NBA, not just Nuggets. Which Trailblazers player, Trailblazers guard, hit a series-clinching 3 to beat the Thunder in the first round of the 2019 playoffs?
Oh, that would be Damian Lillard.
That is correct. The bye-bye, the nice little
Yeah.
wave.
Oh,
Which
good.
is baller.
So baller.
Number 5. Who coached the Chicago Bulls to 6 championships in the 90s?
Phil Jackson.
Hey, there we
No,
go. So
the
we
right
got
answer,
one
of course,
prize.
is Michael Jordan.
One prize coming your way. Number 6. Which player did not win Rookie of the Year? Luka Doncic, Joel Embiid, or Ben Simmons?
Ooh.
Did not win Rookie of the Year.
Joel Embiid.
That is correct.
Let's go.
Oh, God.
That
Thank
is correct. Number
Cool,
7.
cool.
Which team was Kevin Durant drafted by? This one's a little tricky too. I like
The
it.
Seattle
Look
Supersonics.
at
Well, I
that.
guess
That's
it's
not
not
tricky
tricky
for Ray at all.
Not a
Turns
problem
out.
for
Not
Ray.
tricky
Not a
at
problem.
all.
My guy Ray knows. All right, number 8. What guard scored 70 points in March of 2017, lost to the
Devin
Celtics?
You didn't even have to finish.
Yeah, that's a good one. No, man, we might have a big time winner here. Number 9.
Let's
Which
not say that.
franchise has the most NBA championships?
Sorry?
Which franchise has the most NBA championships?
All right. It's between the Celtics, the Lakers.
Oh,
Beeline?
this is
What do you-
riveting.
Look at, I believe the green color around you, I believe.
Oh,
is,
yeah, the Celtics.
Wow, that was a strong hint there. D-line,
Okay.
very strong hint. Number 10. Whose jersey did the Denver Nuggets most recently retire?
know what I want to say, but
This one's for 2 prizes. I don't know if we can give a hint for the 2 prizer. This is a big one.
all right, it's not is well, yeah, it's definitely not Melo. Right? Because Jokic wears this number.
It is assuredly not Melo. It was a long time coming for this guy, I'll say. It's,
But it
not,
was
it's not a
only-
recent.
It was only 2 years ago they retired him.
Man, it seems like a lifetime ago.
It does.
Was it Alex English?
Oh no!
Ray!
So close.
Ray, that is not the answer. That's not
Oh
it.
no!
No,
It's
no,
Dick
no.
Kimbe.
So
Dick
close.
Kimbe. Ray, stay on though. You did win 1 prize, so something from Breck Brew, shirt, water bottle, hats. So stay on the line. We'll get your details and mail that to you. But guys, this was a long week. This was a tough week for a lot of people. Hopefully, we brought a little bit of good and joy and positivity to you. And
You did for us. You did for us. Thanks for watching and commenting.
100%. And things up with the NBA are starting to. A little bit of momentum, a little bit more things to talk about. And, we're going to be back, take the weekend off. We're going to be back next week, probably doing some shows from the bar next week, guys, it looks like, which is exciting for us. Actually going to be live and in studio for the first time. So we have that to look forward to. But for everybody else, have a great weekend. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.
Remember what's good in life.
Let's have a Breck Brew.
Breck Brew.
Crack one open.
Allie?